morning, everyone. Here we are in Muenster, Texas, heading to Red River motorcycle trails, and I am testing out the tubeless system, which I installed yesterday. Wasn't too big of a deal. It's a totally different way of installing tires. I kind of like it. I think going forward it's almost kind of easier, really. Anyway, so yeah, out to Red River, excited, go test out the tubeless system, and glad you could join me. Let's go do some riding.
So here we are at the Red River motorcycle trails, and got to hook up with a handful of guys out here. Scott, Brian, Fireman 24, YouTube sensation, Mike Edelman, his friend, and some other cats out here that are YouTubers with a ton of subscribers, and I don't know who they really are. So anyway, this hill right here, speaking of, let's get sidetracked, I had to burn my clutch up about right there a year ago, my WR250R, trying to do this hill climb. It was all wet and slimy, and following a couple of guys on a Husky and a KTM, and just feathering the clutch too much. Never burned one up. I burned that sucker up. Took us nearly a couple hours to drag that sucker out with straps, and believe me, this is pretty far away from the car, so we had to get towed back, and oh man, it really sucked. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that today. It's tubeless system, as in bliss, T-U-B-I-L, I can't spell, T-U-B-L-I-S-S, as in bliss, because they're friggin' awesome. That's my initial review. Pretty easy to put on. Instructions are really detailed online. Follow them. You shouldn't have any problems. Take your time the first time, and once you really figure out how to do it, I think you'll find it's easier than changing tires with tubes, which I'm really excited about because I'm going to experiment with some tires too. You do have to get new tires for this system because the bead lock dents your old tires and will prevent you from getting a good seal. So they definitely recommend new tires, and I went with the Vulcanduros. I've always been a Dunlop guy on both my KTM and my WR250R, but I'm running the Vulcanduro VE, I think is what they call them if you search for them, and it's a very affordable, supposedly long-lasting tire. So it's got really big knobs on it. For my riding, I think it's going to be a good tire for me. I think next time I'm going to experiment with the golden tires, much pricier, about $230 for a pair of tires versus $150. So quite a bit more, but I'm going to try the Goldens. They've got such great reviews, and once I get enough nerve to spend a little more money like that, I'm 62,000 faster, but I'm going to try that. So anyway, back to tubeless. I'm running 5 pounds of pressure front and rear on this day. I think I'm going to up it a pound or two and experiment. I was going to experiment on this ride, but I was just so into the ride, and 5 felt so good. I did hit a couple of big obstacles, big rocks, and a few real sharp angled things, and I did feel it really sponge over them, and almost feels like the inner tube kind of deflects. So they're that soft, and I did like that. A little bit of rebound. I think a couple more pounds of pressure, or a pound more pressure, is probably good for me, but that is the beauty of the tubeless system. That inner bladder tube actually is a little higher than your rim, and so you can really ram into some stuff pretty hard and keep from ruining your rim. So big benefit for a Gumby rider like me that rams into tons of stuff. So anyway, all in all, I'm really pleased with the tubeless system. I'd be really interested if any of y'all out there have run the tubeless system and had either positive or negative results from that. Please leave comments. I'd love to hear your experience with tubeless. For me, I think they're keepers. I can't imagine going back to tubes. Just to be able to eliminate pinch flats and run this low a tire pressure is really going to be great, especially for those wet, rainy races, which I have one coming up next week, the Blackjack Enduro Nationals or something. It's in Callisburg, Texas. It's a 4-state race. Everyone gets together, and it's a classic enduro, not a cross-country style race. And we are expecting some rain, so I'm going to really get to test that tubeless system next weekend. But all in all, my experience has just been awesome. I think they're a keeper. I was really wondering whether I was going to like it, have trouble installing them, if they were going to actually be able to hold the pressure, hold the bead at such low pressure. And I really didn't have any negative experiences at all. I rode hard, probably did 20-25 miles this day on some pretty rough stuff, as you can see here. Lots of roots, big rocks, and they just felt so plush and a lot more traction than my Dunlops were giving me with 10 pounds of pressure in them roughly. So, all fairness, my Dunlop knobbies were worn down a bit, so they weren't, brand new or anything, but they were pretty damn decent in terms of tread. And that's a Geomax, I think, Dunlop Geomax MX or something. But so yeah, I'm super stoked about the tubeless system. It's going to be really great, I think, for me, but I have heard some positive, negative reviews out there, mostly positive. If you've had either positive or negative review, I'd love to hear what you think about the tubeless system. And so please leave a comment if you have an opinion on that. And yeah, love to hear it. So here, trying to get out of Bill's Woods, the infamous Bill's Woods. So if you've ever heard about Red River Motorcycle Trails, one of the highlights out there is a track called Bill's Woods, and I want to say it's like 20 miles or maybe even more, longer. There's a lot of gnarly stuff back in Bill's Woods. We've only done about half of it here, I think, and I've never done the entire stretch, but looking forward to doing that next couple of trips out there. It almost takes about a half a day just to get through there. I think it's a good 3+ hour ride, but it's pretty rough back in there, and perfect for testing the tubeless system, and definitely overheated a couple of bikes, as you can see there. Even though it's pretty cool out here, I think the high temperature was in the 50s or lower 60s this day, but nonetheless, pretty stressful on some of the bikes out here. And anyway, here's us leaving Bill's Woods. You got to go over this little ramp, which is funny to watch people get stuck in from time to time. And so to wrap up the day, 3 or 4 of the guys had to head out, and that left Brian and Fireman 24, Chris, that is, left, and we went on a kind of a final ride and kind of worked some of these creek beds and found some stuff to screw around on. So just kind of wrapping up the day, doing a little wet, slippery creek bed riding. So another good way to kind of test the tubeless system. Again, I just felt like it had so much traction, no spinning. The Vulcanduro tires, I'm very pleased with those, especially for the money. So if you're a cheapskate like me and you want a quality tire that's not too expensive, you may want to look into the Vulcanduro.
You can tell me if your wrist is broken. Nope.
Alright, so a few more descents, hill climbs, wet creek beds, jagged rocks, roots, whatnot. Kind of wrap up the ride here for this day. And I'm really curious if anyone out there has actually tried the tubeless system, if you've run on it, you have any pros or cons, positives, negatives, however you want to say it. I'd definitely be interested in what your thoughts are. And, in all fairness, I've only been out on these one day, but from my one ride experience of 20 plus miles, I'll have to say they're fucking awesome, at least for me. So if you think otherwise or you agree, please let me know. Leave your comments, and I'd really appreciate that. Also, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Look at my pathetic subscription list. I've only been tubing here for a little less than a year, and yeah, I'd like to hear from y'all. So subscribe. New video coming out soon. Racing Blackjack Enduro next weekend. Probably get my shit handed to me. It's going to be rainy and muddy and
Fucking Brand.
Fireman 24 pissed off at that tree root that smashed his hand there. So anyway, appreciate you stopping by and watching my video and visiting the channel and listening to me blab about the tubeless system. Really think it's great. Curious to what everyone else thinks. And until next time, it's Soul God Moto Freaking saying ride hard, be safe, and have fun.